Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Senior Cat Wellness. Today, we're talking about those weird feline habits and what they all mean. And while this topic is mainly aimed at new owners, I encourage everyone to stick around, as these 5 reasons could become points of conversation in the comments section and initiate other points of positive advice, which could help other owners within the feline community. So let's get started. Cats are very fascinating creatures, quite independent, mysterious, and often very much misunderstood. If you're a cat owner, you've likely witnessed some very puzzling behaviors that made you stop and think, why on earth is my cat doing that? Why do they do that just in general? And today we'll break down 5 of the weirdest cat habits and the instincts behind them. So let's get started. Oh, we've got a good one to start with. The zoomies. I'll give you a dime for how many times I've mentioned the zoomies on this channel. You'd be rich, right? And you've probably seen it many times. Your cat running through the house, bouncing off furniture, maybe running up on the sofa, jumping back down just to jump back up again and jump back down. Pretty much anything goes when this hits. Chaotic behavior, to say the least. It's often referred to as the zoomies. And while it might seem very erratic, zoomies are normal, naturally and completely normal. Cats, especially very young felines, have a lot of energy stored up, sort of like kids, right? In the wild, cats use this energy to hunt. And indoor cats, however, they don't always have the same outlets to do that hunting, so zooming is just their release point. It's how they get rid of all that energy. It's got to go somewhere, right? So running through the halls and jumping on the furniture, that's how they get that done. Zoomies are quite common after say a cat uses a litter box or wakes up from a nap. If your pet gets a zoomies on the regular, that's really nothing to worry about. However, and there always is a however 9 times out of 10, if this behavior becomes excessive or is accompanied by signs of distress, like your cat seems anxious, very anxious while they're doing this, it could be worth discussing with your vet just to make sure there's nothing else going on other than what is considered normal. Next up, and at the time of publication or in the order of publication, if you're a regular around here, you know that I recently did a video about this when knocking things off tables, kitchen counters, any sort of table, a bookshelf, and why cats do it. Well, this is a classic cat move. Ink pen on the table, it's gone. Knocked off on the floor. You got a glass or something near the edge of a table. Whoops, it's gone. Knocked off on the floor. The internet is filled with things like this, but why do cats actually do things like this? Well, there are a few reasons. First up, no surprise here, cats are naturally curious. Using their paws to touch objects, explore them, helps them understand just what they're dealing with, how it feels, and whatnot. But when a cat knocks something off the table, they're sort of testing its weight and texture and how it moves. Like, hey, can I actually knock this off the table, or will it put up some sort of a fight, some sort of resistance? Secondly, hey, and this is probably the obvious, this could be first instead of second, but it's attention seeking for sure. But something is knocked off on the floor and it shatters. Well, you've got your cat's got your attention. As a cat, hey, I've got my owner's attention, even if it's a negative form of attention. So your cat could keep doing it just in case, just as a way to get you to notice things. But in case, if this is the case, providing more interactive playtime, one-on-one playtime, it'll keep them from doing that because it could point to a situation where if your cat's knocking things over, that means you're not getting enough attention elsewhere, enough positive attention. So at playtime, that cuddle section, burn up that energy in a good way so your cat will be less inclined to get up on that kitchen counter and start knocking off salt shakers and the like. Next up, let's talk about birds and even squirrels and your cat's interactions with them, even from the inside of your home. You ever seen a cat staring out the window, the tail's twitching, they're making these little strange chirping and chattering sounds? Well, that's normal. This behavior typically happens when a cat's watching birds and squirrels and potential prey, and they just can't get to it, right? Experts, they often believe this is rooted in a cat's hunting instinct. Chattering may be a sign of excitement or frustration. Like I said, can't get to it from the inside, right? Some suggest that it could be a form of a mimicry. Your cat attempting to imitate the calls of those birds and squirrels and whatnot. But while that theory is certainly up for debate, what's clear is that this chattering is natural. You've all probably seen it either firsthand or on television or any other capacity. Maybe you went over to a neighbor's house and saw their cat looking out the window, sort of charming the birds. It's natural, normal behavior, and it's can make for a great TV show if you are sitting on your sofa watching your cat sort of talk up a storm at everything in nature. Next up, headbutting. head-butting, bunting, rubbing against your shin, your knee, your arm. When a cat bumps their head against you or rubs their face against your body, you're not just being on the receiving end of their affection. They are doing it for various purposes. One of them is to sort of mark you, right? Cats have scent glands on their cheeks and their forehead. When they rub against you, they're marking you with their scent, which helps them feel secure, of course, but also it's you're being claimed. This is especially common in a multi-cat, multi-pet household. They're letting everyone else know, hey, I rubbed against this person. I left my trail behind, so hey, back off. This person belongs to me. It's also a sign that they trust you enough to care in that respect, to want to mark you and claim you as their own. So the next time your cat rubs up against you with that little gentle headbutt, just know that they're saying, hey, you're part of my family, and I'm claiming you for myself. And let's talk about if I fits, I sits, tight spaces, boxes, anything that seems like a cat wouldn't fit that they're drawn to immediately over everything, over everything else that would fit. Cardboard box, a laundry basket, anything you can think of, a bowl, whatever. In the wild, confined spaces offer safety for cats and a good vantage point to observe the world around them without really being seen, right? They're inconspicuous. It's a defensive mechanism, way to stay out of the sight line of a predator, and it's also a way for them to, in return, stalk their own prey. So, domestic cats, these spaces, they also provide warmth and comfort. So, it's a little bit of everything a cat could be looking for, these small areas. So, if you want to make your cat happy, leave that little, maybe leave a open shoe box. You ordered a pair of shoes in the car, a box in a box, the cardboard box that it came in. Leave that open and put it in your living room and sort of spy on your cat and see how long it takes before they get in there and either want to play with it or just crawl in there and take a nap. Overall, many of the behaviors that we find sort of strange and amusing in our cats are very much rooted in biology and feline instinct. But by understanding these actions, we not only learn about our pets, but we can build stronger bonds just by learning the way they see the world and how they navigate their own environment. But if you notice a sudden change in your cat's behavior, if these habits seem very obsessive, going on a little too long, or maybe they seem like they're stressed while doing it, it's always wise to talk to your vet. But in most cases, thankfully, these odd and quirky habits and actions are, hey, it's just a cat being a cat. So, to the wonderful audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts on this topic? As I mentioned from the jump, this is a great topic for participation, a great way for seasoned cat owners to maybe help some of the newcomers, the novice owners. Anything you'd like to add in that comment section? As always, it's all yours. And if you enjoyed this content and found it helpful, please like and share and subscribe. And until next time, we will talk to you later.